First, I think just to say I'm really proud of my team. I'm happy for those guys, and I'm proud of them. That was an ugly game, and we're not going to be able to get away with playing like that moving forward. But tonight we were, and I think it was a team effort. Obviously, when we played Vanderbilt football, we were able to lock the three phases in position. We were able to, manufacture a drive there to start the second half. We were able to generate 3 and outs on defense and put pressure on the quarterback. And, good things happen when you play the right way. And early in the game, it's almost like they flipped the script on us from a year ago. They were overwhelmingly controlling the game with possession time, 2 turnovers. It felt elusive to us. It felt like we couldn't quite grip it. And the way the guys responded coming out of half, again, I'm really proud of them. And I think we can build on this, obviously. I just, our challenge really, what excites me is that we have so much better football ahead of us. And if we can clean up the things that we have control over, then we're going to have a chance to, continue to celebrate if we can. Obviously, we're going to leave it a chance. But I'm proud of the guys. We did what it took to win. I thought in the second half we played at a really high level, even though it wasn't perfect. And feels good to celebrate this one, knowing that we're going to have a really tough one again next weekend. And we'll need to turn the page tomorrow and get to work on South Carolina. But tonight we get to celebrate.
What was the key to the success of your run game, especially during the second half?
The offensive line. I mean, I think those guys got the game ball for us tonight. They were physical. They were able to separate the line of scrimmage. This is a really good defensive front and really a good defense. And I felt early on they were able to get past us and and get the ball in the backfield and get us off schedule. But we stuck with it. For us, it was throw to score, run to win tonight. We knew that to close the game out, we were going to need to find that running game. And credit to Coach Klanakis, Jeff Nady, the offensive line. They set the tone for us, and we're going to need them to do that moving forward. But that was the difference. And obviously, our runners knew what to do with the ball and where to find the hole. And both MK and Sept had big runs. James L had a big screen conversion there at the end. Obviously, Diego had some tough yards too, as he always does. And so it was a group effort, but credit to the O-line.
Were there any, schematically speaking, were there any adjustments with the offensive line, or is it just more so sticking to the plan?
Sticking to the plan. I mean, sometimes, the run game's like body punches, and it doesn't always sell tickets, and you can't always see the impact, but there comes a point where the opponent gets tired of the body punches, and that was part of it. I think Tim did a great job kind of identifying maybe some soft spaces in the line of scrimmage or plays or leverage points where we could attack. And so as the game went, I felt like he got a good feel for how they were lining up to us and where we could find the yards. And so maybe that's where the adjustment was. But I felt like the O-line had the right attitude at the onset. And, again, the penalty stuff we have to clean up, but the way they blocked and I thought also protected in situations where we needed to get shot plays up, they were the difference for us.
You mentioned it was an ugly game. There was the penalties, the turnovers. You guys were still able to win by 24. Is that an indicator of how talented you guys are as a group?
Well, I think we are a really good team when we play well, and I don't know that works, but that's how I feel. We have to play the game the right way, and so we were good enough tonight to hang in there. And part of that is talent, and I think that's what you're talking about. But I think it's also resilience, and I've got a ton of respect for my team. They never back down. They never panic. They never. Tough environment that we start out kind of flat, and we really were feeding the environment, and they just didn't flinch. So the credit goes to them. Credit goes to the coaching staff. We're good enough to win games. We're going to need to play better to do that in our league. But tonight, our resilience and our fight kept us within striking distance. you want to talk about margins. I mean, to come out and to have the ability to, in back-to-back possessions, take a lead in the game, when we went to halftime feeling like we were a million miles away from it. But things like that first drive, a defense that builds to a stop and a field goal attempt there, I mean, that's a big deal, So, again, I think there's a lot that we can take from that, and I think it speaks a lot about the character of our team. And now our job is to clean up the playing of the football, and we can do that.
You mentioned the penalties, and this is kind of the second straight week that it's been a problem, especially with all the procedural, all the ineligible man downfield and things like that. What do you think is the root cause of that, and how can you clean that up going forward?
Well, we have to address the ineligible downfield. Those are RPO throws that we're just breaking, we're puncturing that 3-yard cushion, and that to me is, we can coach through that, and we can better understand that as a staff to correct it. I want to take responsibility for that. One of those was a receiver lined up covering up the tight end. That's a focus area. Those are the ones that we need to eliminate in focus and execution as players. And so there's shared responsibility there, but the downfield ones, we got to take a look at how we're coaching and teaching those RPO throws, the timing of the throw, and how we need to adjust to clean that up. The procedural penalty on the extra point was tough, but again, that's something we can coach through, and we will. So I didn't like early on. It took us a second to adjust to the cadence. So they got us twice on a kind of a clap delayed snap. That once we got back on sides, once we jumped and gave them a free play, and then we had the procedural penalty on the 5 where they had the ball going in, where we felt like the center flinched before snapping it, and so we took off on the flinch, but obviously it wasn't called that way, and so we have to be more disciplined. But not to rehash penalty by penalty, those are things though that we'll look at, and some of those we can coach better. Some of those are focus and execution errors, and it's a team effort to get it redirected.
You mentioned the resiliency. Diego had the pick on the first drive and was much more effective down the stretch, made better decisions. Is he an example of the resilience you saw?
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, you listen, that kid is as competitive and tough and resilient a person that I've ever known. I mean, I told him at the end of the game, as we had sealed it, that when the ball's in his hands, I know that we're going to win, and I felt like he made great decisions. The early interception was a situation where I felt like he forced the throw. He wanted the big play, and we felt like we had one designed, and Virginia Tech did a great job in covering it. And it's a good Virginia Tech team, by the way, too. And I got a ton of respect for Brent Pry and that coaching staff and that team. And again, what they did early on, they put us on our heels, and I just credit our players for digging in the second half and fighting back, and we were able to punch through there in the fourth quarter and separate. But this is a team that I think is Virginia Tech that's going to have a chance to win a bunch of games, and got a ton of respect for them.
How good is it?
You sort of just alluded to it. It's sort of a tale of two halves. Can you take us through what went on in the locker room? What was said, or any players sort of get up and say anything?
I wish that there was something dramatic to tell you about. I mean, there was buzz in the locker room. There was confidence. There was eye contact, and these guys were ready for adjustments and ready to go attack. And I mean, again, they never flinched. Thought the coaches did a nice job with adjustments and kind of resetting and recalibrating. Again, where were the yards on offense? Where were the stops on defense? What were the things that we were conceding that we needed to tighten up? I think they did that. And then my message to the team was very simple, and it was not emotional. It was, I still believe we're the better team. we have to clean up the way we play, and that was it. Again, they were able to actualize that in the way we attacked the second half. And again, that first possession coming out the score was big. The first stop was big, and once we got going, you could feel the momentum shift on the field. And I was proud of the way they handled the adversity of the first half and where they came out in the second half. And we can learn from that, and we can build on it. You're never out of the game.
How good was it to have, some of those circus catches that Tre Richardson made, and what kind of impact has he had so far?
Well, I mean, he made a difference tonight, and he made a difference last week too. And we've seen it in practice, but he's a weapon. He's fast. He has really good ball skills. The contested catch again for the touchdown was an awesome play. And again, it was a great throw also. Diego is confident in Trey and puts the ball on him. So he's been a great addition to a room that I feel like is very strong. You talk about weapons. I mean, Junior Sherrill, who wasn't really able to practice this week, who got back on Thursday. I was proud of the way he showed up tonight. Obviously, Eli Stowers made a couple of nice big catches. Richie Hoskins continues to be kind of steady and consistent. Martell's show. So you have Trent Hudson, hasn't yet had the chance to impact the game yet, but he's a really good receiver. So there are weapons now offensively that are going to allow us to have the explosive plays. Bryson Coleman, who catches his first touchdown tonight. I mean, that was a huge play in the first half for us. Cole Spence is a great target. I mean, I could go on and on. That will allow us to counterpunch. That'll allow us to gain in chunks. That'll allow us to score more points. And tonight we needed that because we had the deficit we had to overcome, and it wasn't going to happen just by grinding out yards on the ground. We needed a run to win, but we had to throw to score, and we were able to accomplish that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
You're kind of an underdog. Obviously, weren't super highly recruited. How does it, just I guess broadly, how does it feel to kind of have a game like that in front of a crowd like that?
Feels good because coming here I was a little bit nervous about moving up to this big level, and then having the teammates bring me in and hold me accountable and help me get up to that level. It feels good to play in front of everybody and show them what I can do coming from a D2.
How did you feel Diego performed tonight, and how did he bounce back from the first pick?
I feel like everybody's going to make a mistake, throw a pick. I mean, I missed the block. It happens. So I feel like he bounced back great, and in my opinion, he always plays pretty great.
What was the secret to your success tonight?
I wouldn't say it's a secret, but I would say you just got to wait your turn, and when the opportunity's there, you got to take care of the ball and try to go get it, and that's what I did.
From your view, did it feel like on the field that the momentum was sort of shifted completely after you got the touchdown?
I feel like it was shifting at the end of the first half. We just ran out of time, so then coming out of half, we had a plan to get the ball, score, get a stop, score again, and then once we did those first two things, then we executed, and that's when I got my touchdown, and that's when the momentum really started to shift. Fans started leaving, and then we just executed more and more, and then caused the second half shutout.
Where does that touchdown catch stack up with ones you've had in the past?
I'd probably give it my first or second, top two for sure.
Can you take us through it? When did you know that you came down with it?
I'll take you through it. So I knew he was in man, and Diego looked at me, and I just knew he was going to throw the ball, and he was tugging on my right arm, so I only had one arm to catch it. And then once I grabbed it, I just hugged it in, and then I knew it was a touchdown. I don't know why they reviewed it, but I just felt like it was a touchdown anyway. So, yeah, that was what's going through my mind as the play went on.
When they were reviewing it, were you going around telling everybody that's a touchdown?
Yeah, I was holding my hands up the whole time. I just knew it was a touchdown. I secured it. The ball didn't touch the ground. I knew it was a touchdown.
Last year they kind of struggled to have explosive plays, and that hurt them at times. You feel like you guys are a little more equipped to do that, especially with what you did tonight?
Yeah, I feel like with me, Junior, KB too now, and then our running backs, tight ends, everybody, it opens up everybody when you guys speed like me and KB running around, decoys, anything. It opens it up for everybody.
All right. We'll go for questions for C.J. Hurd.
You guys probably didn't play the best game that you're capable of tonight, still won by 24. Does that kind of excite you, what you guys can be when you guys are firing on all cylinders?
I feel like what's scary about our defense is in the first half, like we was hurting ourselves. They didn't do nothing that Coach Gregory and our coaches didn't prepare us for, and I just feel like we all 11 guys on the same page. We scary, so I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like.
First half, Kyron Jones, sort of ran, a lot in the first half. Just in the second half, you guys shut him out, shut Kyron Jones down as well. Just sort of, can you take us through the adjustments on defense and then what you saw in the second half?
I'll say, to be honest, bro, just all 11 guys been on the same page. In the first half, we was all scrambling around. It was our first big game. I feel like we wasn't on the same page, just us, head, body. Coach Lee always talking about it, just been on the same page. Once we lined up and was on the same page and played the call, everything was eliminated.
Do you feel like blitzing was helpful for you guys, especially early on? It felt like you guys got home a few times.
Coach Gregory called it up. He said this since we started prepping for them, that blitz right there was going in the game. So he called it up. Called my number, and I had to make the play.
Last for student athletes, we've got Jordan White, who's carrying the game ball, representative of what was presented to the offensive line tonight. Question for Jordan.
What was the secret to y'all's success in the run game tonight?
Just running the ball, wearing them out every snap of the game.
What was the adjustment in the second half? I mean, second half, the rushing lanes open, felt like Diego had a lot more time to throw as well. Can you talk about that?
Just the offensive line being on the same page, playing better, being more aggressive. That's about it.
A lot of people over the years have talked about how it's gonna be hard for Vandy to push around a team like that. You felt like you guys kind of did that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new era of Vandy, so this is what you're going to expect now. So yeah.
Along those same lines, Clark had mentioned you guys didn't play the best game as a team
Yeah.
that you could have played, and you guys still won by 24.
Yeah.
What does that say about you guys?
A lot of stuff for us to work on, keep working, stacking our days to get better. That's about it.
What'd you make of Diego's performance?
He's amazing. Every time I see him perform, he's amazing. I love to have him as a quarterback to snap the ball to him every time. He's great.
Anything else, guys? All right, appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.